Namaste. Good morning. Buenos dias. Hopefully everyone had a good night's sleep. So coming into your practice space, becoming comfortable with it. So find your space, find where you are. Look around the room for a moment. Just notice where you are. And then start to relax your body down toward the floor as your spine lifts up. So think about planting a young seedling that has a few roots growing out of it. You want to dig down deep and then make sure that its spine as the seedling rises up. So thinking of our spine as that seedling, and the base of our body touching the floor, planting it. Good. Once you've found your seat, notice your breath. Just noticing it for a moment, not changing, just and then see if we can turn on our parasympathetic nervous systems by doing some abdominal breathing. So exhale and pull the belly back to the spine. Release the effort and let the breath come in. And use your exhale to pull the muscles back to the spine. Use your abdominal muscles. And then relax the muscles and let the breath come in. 3 or 4 more abdominal breaths. Letting the diaphragm expand down into the belly. Good. And then bringing your hands into the heart. Let your thumbs gently touch your sternum for a moment and bow your head a little, just lengthening the back of the neck, looking down between your fingers. Feeling the space in the back of the neck lengthen. Relaxing your eyes, the tongue and the mouth. And again, bringing yourself inside, drawing the senses in and focus on your heart space, somewhere behind your sternum. A little over to the left. Just focusing on the physical heart for a moment. Imagine you can hear it beating. And then focusing on the heart-brain connection. So now the heart is not the physical heart, the heart that fills the cells of your body. A heart that knows you completely. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. Special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. What is your goal for your practice today? What is your intention? What is your song code? Repeating it to yourself positively as if you've already accomplished it 3 times. I will bring peace into my life, or whatever it is, positively 3 times. And then thinking of someone or something who might need a little extra energy today, to offer the practice, to offer the work. And then letting these 2 thoughts jump on that heart-mind connection, come out of your mind, slip down to your heart, bringing them back in. Join me if you can where you are in one resounding Om. Exhaling the breath out, inhaling. And then letting your eyes flutter open on an inhale. Your hands, just reach them out and stretch the fingers away as far as you can stretch them. Good. And then interlace the fingers strongly. Squeeze the fingers. make some infinity symbols with the wrist. Other direction. Good, and then separate the fingers again. Squeeze them out as far as you can take them, contracting them back, extending. And then the other interlace with purpose. Really squeeze the fingers together and infinity. Both directions. Go at once. Good. And now press the hands out toward me. Let your shoulder blades reach off the sides as if you could reach toward the screen. Reach, reach. And then take the shoulder blades back and set them way down the spine. Flex the wrist. Good. And we're going to open our arms out to the side. Keep the flexion. Keep pressing into the arms. Now engaging deltoids posteriorly. Press into the press into the hands. Good. Let's move the elbows for a moment. So just let them hang. Just let your arms hang. Good. Soften them. Great. And then we're going to lie the back of the hands on the legs and rest your shoulders down. I want us to take a measurement and see what's going on with our legs and the hip joint right here, right now from where we are. So just lean back a little and stretch your legs out. Stretch out. Put your hands back behind you. I just want you to look at the relationship of your legs. Find something, if you had a piece of chalk right now and you mark where your legs are, just find something that you can see how your legs are without extra effort. Okay? Everybody kind of got a place of where your legs are comfortable, not overstretched, just where they are all by themselves. Lean back a little so you're not over-compromising your spine. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So feel free to help a leg up, soles of the feet together. Nice big diamond, and see how comfortable with that feels. Right now. We're going to check these two measurements at the end of class. Okay, good, so just checking in. Great. And then go ahead and bring your left heel in. Take your right leg up. Treat the whole leg as a unit. So hold it behind the knee and just making some back and forth movements. Some up and down movements. And then some circles. One direction and then the other. Great. And then let's switch. So bring that heel into the groin, behind the knee, so you can treat the whole leg as a unit, back and forth. Up and down. Find the mid-range, up and down. Good. And then some circles. Got my knee firmly held, so I'm not torquing it. Good. And then let's take both feet out to the front and press through the heels. Just press through, keep the heels on the floor for a moment. Completely on the floor. Great. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and squat. So nice big squat. You can come up onto the balls of the feet or down, just letting your bottom be heavy, feeling really heavy. Your lumbar will be in its natural C curve, the one you were in the womb with for a moment. Good. And then place your hands out in front. So this little frog-like pose for a moment. And our knees and our feet are headed in the same direction. This is super important or you'll torque your knee, okay? Good. So some of us are going to use this as an inversion. Some of us are going to not invert. So inverting means we have our head below our hips, okay? So some of us who should not be inverting, you're on your first few days of your menstrual cycle, you don't need to invert. If you are have high blood pressure, not controlled, if you have glaucoma, eye pressure problems, if you have gastric reflux, and it's active right now, don't invert, okay? So those of you who cannot invert are just coming up and down, and up and down. And you're not taking your bottom higher than your head looking forward. Those of you who can invert are going up and down, and up and down. Keep going. Knees and feet have to be in the same direction. Good. And then look forward. Everybody start to come up. Press up. All the way up. Good. And then we're going to work a little bit with the legs. Okay? So watch for the first time. And I think I'll do it towards you. So we're going to work today with that transition area between warrior 1 and warrior 2, which everybody hates to touch because it's so challenging. But I want us to work on that with what that means into this part of the hip joint that we just measured at the beginning. So for one moment, just watch. My legs are on train tracks, and my heel is up, and my heel is down. My heel is up, my heel is down. My pelvic basket goes with my leg if I keep it in that Tadasana. My heel is up, hip is forward, heel is down, hip is to the side. So the whole pelvic basket is moving. I'm not just going with my arms, which is what happens a lot. Same legs, arms change, okay? So go ahead. Let's come to the back of our mats. And let's start stepping your left leg forward on a train track, okay? Heel is up, back heel is up. Bend your knee so that it's shy of your ankle, just a little bit shy, so you can see all of your toes in front of your knee. Good. Good, these strikes kind of help today. Great, all right. So go ahead and rise up the arms. Good, breathe. So this is flag pose, Vajrasana. Great. Now slowly, go ahead and bring your hands and arms down to the hips. And just focus on what's happening in your hip. You're going to lower your right heel and take your pelvis out to the right. You won't go all the way. Don't let your left knee travel. Keep it right shy of the ankle. Good. And then lift up the back heel and come back. One more time. Lower the heel, hips turn out toward the right. Don't let the left knee travel. It's really going to want to travel and dive in, and that's super dangerous. And it happens from the hip. Good. And then back again. Great. And it's probably easier, let's just step forward. Okay? And come back. Now, right leg is going to step forward. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, right leg forward. Good. Find your bearing. Back heel is up. Look and make sure you can see all your toes in front of your knee so that it's a little bit shy. Let's rise up with the arms. Lifting up out of the lower body. And then bringing the hands down to the hips so we can really focus on what's happening in the hips. The whole torso and the hips are going together. So when this part moves, this part moves with it, okay? So we're going to lower the heel and take torso and body with it. Don't let your right knee travel. And then lift and come back. Coming over. Don't let the knee travel. Back. Notice how the belly and the chest are staying united as one trunk. Down and up. Good. Let's step forward. Great. And then come all the way back. Great. So maybe reorient your mat because now we're going to step out to the side and just work a little bit in that exact joint we were just using. Okay. So wiggling the hips and externally rotating the left leg. Lean until you get a long line of energy. Crown of the head to your right heel. Crown of the head to your right heel. Don't collapse. So that this right side, left side is as long as the right side. It's as long as. So none of this. This is collapsing. This is staying strong. Okay. So open. Good. That's happening from that joint. We're going to bend the knee. and straighten. Don't push weight into that leg. It already has enough of its own. Put your hand on your belly. Don't go past your ankle. Good. And then come upright. Notice how it feels in that joint. And then release back to the center. Okay? Right foot. And then we're going to lean just until we find that long line of energy. So don't keep going and collapse down on that whole right side. Stay tall and long. Your body is an extension. It's Tadasana over your externally rotated right leg. Good. So just you can place your hands on your as-is bones. Keep you honest. Good. And bend and straighten. Shy of or right over your right ankle, not beyond. So the whole of our body isn't moving, just the leg at the femur and the knee, of course. And the ankle is flexing. Right. And then press up, all the way up, and unrotate. Good. Let's come on over. So remember, you can stay here if you're not inverting. You can get a block and just be in it for a moment. And if you're inverting, feel free to just relax the body and let it go for a moment. Just let go. Let your rib cage open on the back side. And then everybody looking forward again, whether your hands are on the floor or on your block, looking forward. Good. And then heel, toe, heel. So again, knees and ankles have a relationship. You may need to wiggle your feet somewhere. Good. So goddess pose. Great. Just finding that space. And straighten and bend. And straighten. Slowly. Control. And bend. And straighten. And bend. And straighten. And bend. Last one. Good. Put your hands on your legs. Look out over your left shoulder. Bring your belly in. Lift your pelvic floor. Come back into the center. And look over your right shoulder. And back into the center. And straighten your legs. Continue to heel, toe, until you find Tadasana. Good. Finding your Tadasana, balancing evenly on your feet. Close your eyes for a moment. Take 6 or 8 breaths. Relax the pelvic floor. Relax the belly. Relax the shoulders, the jaw. Good. And then on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Great. So a little bit of working with the rotation. And we're going to do it as a balance. You can hold on to the wall or anything you'd like, a chair, whatever you have. We're going to bring up the right leg, hold on to the big toe, and extend the right leg out to the side, just as much as is comfortable. Keep your left knee supple. Don't block it out. Pull the belly in. Pelvic floor is very lifted. You can release the wall if you have it there for a moment. And then release. Okay? And then other side. You're just working with the rotation of the leg from standing. Okay? So bringing up bending the left knee, holding on to the big toe. Make sure your right knee is supple and you're balanced completely on your right foot. Extend the leg. Doesn't have to go all the way, just wherever it goes and out to the side. Just as far as it goes, it's perfect. Good. And then relax and release. Great. Okay. So and now we're going to combine some of what we've been doing, okay? And I'm going to do it to the side. You can do it to the front. I'm going to do it to the side, so hopefully you'll have a little bit better vision of what I'm going to do, all right? So let's go to the top of our mat, and you're welcome to be in front, okay? Great. Hands into the heart. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, bring your arms down. Supinate, open the arms and the hands. Good. And arms out to the side. Coming up, looking up, gazing up. Any back bending here is happening only in your thoracic spine. Everything from the waist down is solid. So if you're up, it's because your thoracic spine has it. Good. Breathe. And then on your next exhale, slowly make your way down. You can look forward or invert. You decide. And then everybody inhaling and looking forward. Right, let's take left leg back into a lunge. Good. So finding your lunge. Great. So this is a low flag. You can drop to your knee for a minute. Let's all drop to our knee for a minute. So drop to your knee. So taking our low Devasasana, flat pose, sweeping the arms up. Bringing the arms down. Good. Let's come off the back leg. So placing the foot down and cartwheeling. So forward and open into warrior two. Good. Excellent. Straighten the front knee. Reach. Find that diagonal line. Lower the arm. Stack it. Stack the arms for a triangle. Good. And then back to warrior two. Joan of Arc. Reaching back. Straighten the leg. Coming back all the way up. And then cartwheel the arm over as the heel rises. All the way back up. Good. And then inhale, just a little hop to the front. Exhale and fold if you're folding. And inhale all the way up. And hands to the heart. Great. I'm going to come to this side, so I'm not limited by the wall. For the right side, you can stay where you were. Okay? Nice. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, root down. Open the arms and hands. Good. Inhale, arms up. Looking up. Gazing up. Exhale, begin your dive forward. Pausing and looking forward. For those of you who are not inverting, don't go. The rest of you can go. Inhale, looking forward, coming back to that neutral position. Good. And now right leg, back to a lunge. Let's drop to the knee so we can see this low flag. Often called Anjanaya, Hanuman's mom. And then coming back. Good. Press through the heel. And then we're going to actually plant that right foot down, predisposing the right hip to open, slowly coming up and opening into warrior two. Excellent. Good. Straighten the leg, reach, don't collapse, release the arm, stack the other arm on top. Beautiful. Good. Bend the knee, warrior two. One more time. Joan of Arc. Reaching back, opening the whole of the left side, and then straighten the leg. Good. Coming back up and cartwheeling The back arm over. Back up. Heel is up. Vajrasana. Low flag. And then a little hop to the front. Fold or stay looking forward. And then inhale. Coming up. All the way up. Arms up. And exhale. Hands into Anjali. Good. So hopefully that lets you see how you could add that into a sun salute. So if sun salute were your morning practice, if you did 2 or 3 rounds of sun salute every morning, it doesn't have opening at the pelvic basket and it doesn't have a twist. So let's add those components to a regular sun salute to see if you can figure out a daily practice that you can do all by yourself at home, okay? And remembering the part about inverting. So I'll try to remind you, okay? So coming on to the front of your mat, I think probably better to do it here with you, even though you missed half my head. Okay, take a nice inhale. Exhale, arms floating down. Reach open the arms, lift, and look up. Exhale, diving forward. Let the exhale be your focus. Take as many catch breaths as you need. Inverting or staying looking forward. Remember, that's always an option. Left leg, back into a lunge. Good. And so if it were a regular sun salute, we would just stay here before moving back into plank. We're going to add a couple of things. I'm going to make a fist with my left hand and open myself out to the right with the twist. Cartwheeling the arm the rest of the way over. Good. So both hands nice and strong. Great. And then I'm going to plant that back leg just like we did, sweeping my left arm forward, coming up into warrior 2. And then you can do any little series of triangle, side angle. I'm just going to do warrior 2. Cartwheel the arm back over, roll up the heel, coming back onto your train tracks. Good. Both arms down and step to plank. Good. And then knees, chest and chin to touch or hover. Or if you collapse and you know you collapse, come down onto your forearms and gently lower yourself to the floor. On your next inhale, finding cobra. See if you can do it with no hands. Good. And then curl the toes under, pressing back into mountain or just plank if you're not inverting. Plank pose, hold it for 3 breaths. And on your next inhale, look at the space between your hands. Left foot right over by your left hand. Back knee can stay up or lower. I'm going to make a fist with my right hand and sweep my left arm back and open my torso and chest out to the left. Don't let your left knee travel. Continue with the arm all the way over, replacing both hands on either side of the mat. Good. And then I'm going to do a little hop to completely lower my right foot. 45-degree angle. And then slowly open up into warrior 2. Good. And remember here you can do any little series you might like to do. And then cartwheel the back arm over as you roll up your heel, replacing. Good. Inhale a little hop to the front, long spine. If you can, exhale and fold, otherwise just looking forward. And then inhale, arms to the sides, coming up. And exhale, hands into Anjali. Let's do the other side. Inhale, arms floating up. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, coming halfway up. Exhale, placing the hands on either side of the mat and right leg back into a lunge. Establish the lunge. Stay up with the heel or drop to the knee. We're going to twist first. I'm going to make a fist, putting it underneath my shoulder with my right hand, and then open with the left. All the way open. Press into the left hand, right hand, press. And then all the way over. Good. And then if you're on the back knee, come off, plant the back foot. Bend make sure your left knee is over your ankle, and then you can come up and away. Good. Belly in, pelvic floor lifted. As much as you would like to do here, make it your own. I'm just staying and breathing, giving you an opportunity to do a couple of poses here. Good. And then find warrior two again. Cartwheel the back arm over as you roll up the back heel. Reach to the floor and step to plank. Long line of energy. Drop to your knees. Take a breath or two. And then as you're ready, you're lowering to the floor or hovering, whichever is best for you, but don't collapse into the shoulder girdle. Shoulder stays stable. Cobra, inhale. If you can use no hands. Little toes, little toenails into the floor. Curl the toes under and press into mountain. Or plank if you're not inverting. Three breaths. And then inhale, looking at the space between your hands, stepping your right foot over by your right hand. You can come down to the knee or stay up. I'm making a fist with my left hand. Good. And then sweeping the arm back and opening out to the right. Pressing into my left arm, left hand. Open, open, open. And then cartwheeling the arm the rest of the way over. Good. If you're on your back knee, come off and plant the back foot in at about a 45-degree angle. Go ahead and place your right hand above the knee. Sweep your left arm up. Good. Pull in the belly. Lift the pelvic floor. Everything lifted. Keep the knee and the ankle of the front leg aligned. You can only see your big toe. Adding in any poses here you might like. Triangle, side angle, Joan of Arc. And then finding back warrior two, open at the legs. And then back arm cartwheeling over as your back heel rises up back onto your train tracks. Hands to the floor. Good. Inhale, a little hop to the front, long spine. Exhale, fold or look forward. And inhale, arms to the sides, coming up. All the way up. And exhale, hands into Anjali. Release the arms and take a few breaths. Standing Shavasana. Relax into your heels, ball of the foot, even the arches, side to side, inside to outside. Good. And then slowly we're going to come down to the floor. Making your way down into the squat. Find the squat. Knees and feet in the same direction. As wide apart as you want. Put your elbows inside. And just soften for a moment. Let your chin head towards your chest. Find that embryonic C curve on the body. Breathe into your back ribs. And then begin to look forward and slowly walk your arms around to the back and then help yourself find your seat in Dandasana with the legs extended. Good. And then go ahead and bring in the left knee for a moment. Bring it in as close to your body as you can. Put the left foot along the right thigh and just see where that leg is for a moment. If you need a block underneath it, grab it, but just let the leg relax wherever the leg can possibly relax. Sitting up on your sit bones or a blanket, rolled bolster, something right, rolled mat, something underneath. Press through your heel, press through the heel. Keep it on the floor. You're just relaxing the left groin. Good. And then release it. And then bringing in the other leg. Good. And then putting the right foot along the thigh. Right along. And if it's not on the floor, put something underneath it so that it can relax completely. It's like a newborn baby, just relaxing completely. Meanwhile, your left foot is active, left thigh is active. And just resting the whole of that leg. Breathing up on your sit bones, lifting, and then opening your heels. Good. Release both out to the side. Great. And then let's take the soles of the feet together and open the feet. Good. Look for that diamond that you did at the beginning of class with your feet, just with your toes apart. But find the diamond. And just see if it feels more comfortable. And I'm going to open the door for my cat, who is making a lot of noise. Just see if it feels more comfortable. Perfect. Toes open. Okay, and then let's try that little trial. Put the toes together one at a time, feeling apart one at a time. Just try it. You know what to do. All right. And then bringing your left heel into the groin, right leg back behind. Just lean a little bit over to the left to the right. Come back into the center. Lean a little bit over to the left. Your sit bone can rise up. Lean back into the middle somewhere. Just kind of notice the space in between your sit bones. Good. And then release that leg and bring now the right heel into the groin and the left leg back behind. And just lean a little bit over to the left. You can take your arm if you'd like, or just keep your arm out of it and just using the intercostals. It's really the intercostals that we're working on. You can see if that gives your upper intercostals a little bit more of a lift. And then coming over, and the other side. Come off the sit bone, no problem. And then coming back into the middle. Good. And then again, the soles of the feet together, and just check now and see if that's any more comfortable than it was. And then let's try our extension out into Upavista. And just see, now put the arms behind you so you can lift up your pelvis off the floor and set it right down on the sit bones. And just seeing if you are a little bit wider, broader, but easily. Not that you did a lot of, you're not having to do a lot of forcing, it's just what happened at the beginning is it is now what's happening at the end open. Did you open the hip joint? Did you get some space in the way that the femur moves in the acetabulum? Did you release and lengthen any of the muscles in the thigh and the hip? Good, just be where you are. Great. And so now we have our hands behind us and we're up on our sit bones. And I want you to take one arm in front, one arm back, and really press your spine towards lifting up. So one arm back, one arm in front. You're not really twisting, you're staying toward the front. It's just one arm, keeping you right on your sit bones. Feet are flexed. Let's switch arms in case you did any kind of little twisting anywhere. Good, and then both arms back behind again. Let's move them out to the side. Lift the hips off the floor, check them just a little bit, and set them right back down onto your sit bones. Good. And then bring in both feet. And then bring in the knees. Squeeze the knees together and relax the groin. Good. So we're going to lie down onto the floor and do windshield wiper with the purpose of really extending the psoas muscle, okay, which just got a lot of work. So as you come down, you're going to put your feet mat width apart. That's super important. Feet are mat width apart, and you're lying on the floor. And then as you're ready, you're going to drop your knees over to the left, arch your spine, and roll your chest and head a little bit to the right. Take your right knee even further toward the floor. It's not going to touch. It may touch, but doesn't need to touch. Just lengthening the whole of the right groin. And then come back into the center. And then knees over to the right, arch your spine, gaze over to the left, gaze, and really stretch the left knee down toward the floor, opening up, finding the maximum extension at the psoas, at the hip flexors. And then coming back through. Now taking it either side again, 1 or 2 times, but be sure you arch your spine. Just finding neutral now. And this is the place where we're going to take a short inversion. So if you are inverted, you're welcome to do headstand, handstand, shoulder stand, anything that you have as part of your practice. If you're not inverting, you can just place your feet somewhere along the wall, legs up the wall. But keep your hips on the floor. So you're just using the gravity to work with the lymph that's in your legs and nothing else. And your legs can even be less high than mine are, just in a shorter space. Okay. If you'd like, and you can invert, but you don't do headstand, shoulder stand, just bending your knees, putting your feet on the floor, put a block underneath your hips that lifts your hips higher than your head, and then drifting your legs up toward the ceiling and relaxing. One more minute. Not taking your head to either side, making sure you're looking at the ceiling, or making sure that whatever inversion you're in, you do not have your neck compromised. The neck is open. And then slowly, gently dropping your knees towards your chest if you're in Viparita. Putting your feet on the floor, lifting off the block, coming out of your inversion wherever you are, and finding your Shavasana, your corpse pose. Don't feel trapped by your mat. You could be outside of your mat, looking for complete relaxation. Babaji says this is the hardest pose of all. Just letting go, body, breath, mind. Hands are below the heart. If you feel a little heated in the practice, you can let your head drift slowly and gently off to the left side. Chitali Karani Mudra. If you're feeling heated. Otherwise, just facing the seat. Slowly and gently bringing your awareness into the breath and the body. As you breathe in a little deeper, beginning to twinkle your toes, swim your fingers, moving the face, wriggling your nose, your eyes, your lips, wriggling your ears, bringing the senses online and slowly finding your way over to embryo pose, all curled up to one side, either side, all safe and secure. And then slowly and gently begin to press the floor away, spiraling up, finding your comfortable seat. Being still for just another moment or two, just allowing the asana, the seat, the comfortableness of your seat compared to the beginning of class. Just noticing the flow of breath, noticing the pace of your thoughts. So just giving you a little pranayama that you can do. Right now, as we're wearing masks, we're finding that we'll come home and maybe have a little bit of a scratchy throat because in the day we're breathing through our mouth because it's so hard to grab enough breath through the nose. So a practice that can help us begin to pull breath through against resistance of the mask itself is just closing your nose a little bit, just a little bit of pressure, and inhaling chest breath. So into here, not into here, right? So you can put your hands on your ribs or just take a breath. So you know that's where you want it to go. And just relax your right hand, left hand, right hand, with your right hand. Just pulling your nose down, just squeezing a little bit and resisting and bringing the breath in. Release and exhale normally. So just a little squeeze, resist. Release and exhale normally. 4 or 5 more rounds. One more. And then releasing both hands to the legs. Breathing your natural breath. Moving into our meditation this morning, keeping us fluid, liquid, focusing it at the belly, right at the navel center, but all the way back in your spine, right behind the Manipur, focusing on the water element, liquidity, fluidity. You can use the mudra, tip of the ring, tip of the thumb to the tip of the pinky, tip of the thumb to the tip of the pinky, top, water. Letting the mudra tether you to the body, the physical body. And letting the mantra tether you to Mahat, to our cosmic consciousness. The bowl will ring once to begin, once at the end. And in the middle, I will remind you to come back to Vam, 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 with a beat. Vam, Vam. Bum, bum, bum. Repeating it silently. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Releasing the mudra, releasing the mind. Slowly coming back into the conscious moment. Letting your breath expand a little. And as you're ready, with an inhale breath, letting the eyes flutter open. Just taking in your surroundings like you did. Bringing the hands into the heart onto the knee. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our diligent practice, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentience. Remembering your intention, your sankalpa, repeated 3 times, positive. Remembering your offering to whom or to what. And then gathering those thoughts and slipping them down into your heart space, symbolically out into the palms of your hands. Lift them up and let them go off into the, bringing the hands slowly and gently back. Hari Om. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you. Good morning. Nice to see you here this morning. Let's see if I can move my camera up a little so I don't have to lean down. Great. Thank you, Jamila. So nice to have you. Appreciate you. Thanks to everyone for coming today, for your practice, for just working a little bit on you this morning and setting the time aside to work on you. Let me make it where you can unmute. Hold on. Now you can all talk if you'd like. Yeah, hold on. Just making a Kama co-host in case I get lost. John, did you have a comment or a question?
No, I'm trying to get this phone to use video.
Well, you turned on your microphone instead of your video camera, so maybe right beside it. Well, I know what you look like, so I'm just imagining you right now. So, yeah.
Kamalesh, could you please spell the mantra?
It's spelled in Sanskrit. It's a J, a Y, and sometimes people write it A-M, but in Sanskrit it's not long, it's short. It's a sound, and the M is a nasophonic sound like our word song. So it can be an M like Om or Vang, but it's got Vam. There's a ng at the end of it, right? So
yeah.
A lot of people will say bomb. It's not that. It's bung, 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 bung. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. In Sanskrit, it's spelled differently than we sometimes spell it in English. When I'm usually writing it for people to chant it, I write it V-U-N-G because I think they get more of that nasopharynx vibration, which is where we're working in that area, below Agnya Chakra to sort of stimulate it. Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Jen, yeah.
Yeah, so you had mentioned you could turn the head towards the left side in Shavasana for cooling.
Right, but not like that, just like that, right? So don't collapse into it, just a little, just to the left.
Like that. And I was curious if the right is heating?
It is, so you wouldn't want to go there unless you really needed it, right? Babaji's, it's in our manual, in our yoga teacher training manual, back in recline poses, you'll see it talks about Shitali Karani Mudra. So cooling, reverse cooling pose. Mudra, seal, reverse cooling seal, yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure exactly why, because sometimes it seems the opposite of what my logic would have told me, but I'm just going with Babaji. I believe. There's some things you just have to take your teacher's word for it, right? whether you understand it or not. I remember not understanding why we twisted on an inhale until he put his hand on my head and made me do it. And then I totally got it. So, yeah. Any questions? How about this was a pretty intense hip work for all of us. Did you see an improvement from the beginning to the end? Was it all of a sudden, like at first they were quite limited, and then by the end of class they were quite amply open? Did folks get to experience that? I think when you really focus in and work at that level of the joint, and I don't like Donna who's here somewhere, I just saw her, maybe she just left, but we were talking about how that transition from, you know, flag pose to warrior two, it has to be done so consciously, because people will sometimes just move their torso and think they, you know, move the pose. And it really all happens from what's happening with the torso as a whole. So, you know, here's the torso in warrior two, and here's the torso in warrior one or flag. So it's like rolling that whole thing and taking the whole thing as a unit, making sure your belly button and your sternum follow each other in both places, that you don't keep your belly button in one place and pull your sternum away to another place, right? That makes sense. And it can be very challenging, especially for a beginner. It can be challenging for all of us who have tighter hips, because that's where the work is, right? That's why we do so much work. So I want to remind us of our subtle body structure, for you to think about this for a moment. So when we do Nadi Shodhana, we're closing off the nadis, Ida and Pingala, right? So we're closing off those nadis one at a time to bring balance as we cross that area, okay? One at a time. Those same nadis that come out of our nostrils start down at the very base of our tailbone, down right on either side of the tailbone, and they make their way up. And depending upon the source, whether it be what textbook you use, they sometimes can cross at the chakras, sometimes they go around the chakras. In the Upanishads, they just come straight on up. But when we do these things that cause that hip to rotate, and you know, here's your solid, and then here's your open, and here's your open, and here's your open, you're stimulating the nadi at the bottom rather than out the nostril. So you are stimulating. So it's like a grosser version of Nadi Shodhana to cleanse and balance our energy channels on the body. Here, we're working with the area of Pran, and down there, we're working with the area of Apan, but it's still the same Nadi from beginning to end. Does that make sense to you at all? Just knowing that some of the practices to touch us humans had to get a little bit more gross. They were subtle. Like, you know, the rishis may have said, just sit and meditate and you'll see God. And they did it and they didn't find God. And so they said, okay, well, let's try some breathing practices and see if that helps. And they still had a hard time. And then they added some asana. And then, you know, so all of these practices are layered. And if you read in the sutras, it tells you all of these different methods of how to reach this transcendental state of samadhi, or how you reach absorption into our cosmic being, knowing that we're all the same, right? How do we reach that? And so finally, you know, in book 4, it just says whatever method works for you is great. You know, so for some of us it's asana, for some of it's pranayama, for some of it's purely sitting in meditation, and our meditations may differ. It may be a meditation on nothingness. It may be a mindfulness meditation. It may be a meditation on something physical, doing samyam, attempting to do samyam on a physical object. So it all just depends. But the sutras are pretty clear. Patanjali is pretty clear that whatever works for you is what you should do. So I want to encourage you all, hopefully everybody has a home practice, but just to be thinking about doing your practice. That's why I put those things in the sun salute today. Sun salute's pretty perfect. It has forward bends, it has back bends, it has extensions, it has flexions, it has just all of these great things, but it's missing that twist and it's missing any opening of the hips, right? So when you, hi John, now I see you. So when you open up the hips and do that little warrior series somewhere in the middle of your sun salute, or you do a twisting series somewhere in the middle of your sun salute, then you've created for yourself a balanced practice that has all of the groups of postures. And then of course, adding an inversion and Shavasana, an inversion if you can invert, and then making sure you take time for your Shavasana. Margie says it's the hardest pose of all. But it looks like sometimes, occasionally, I can kind of look up and see this, and there's complete peace. Sometimes I look up and I see people walking. So I know that my Shavasana cues just went out the window. But sometimes I look up and see the screen and everyone is just like zonked. And that makes me feel really good. And I know for those of you who are walking, it's probably not because you had that intention when you started your Shavasana, but something got in the way, like my cat today, who started pulling at the screen and made me go open the door that I thought I had left open for her, so I wouldn't have to do that. So how about the breath in through resistance? Because that's what's happening with our mask on. We're having to breathe through resistance. How many of you wear your mask and then have a slight sore throat? A slight scratchy throat's a better word for it. Yeah? And it's because we're taking in air through our mouth, that dry air through our mouth without even realizing it, because we need a bigger breath. So we just, without even thinking about it. And so that breath isn't filtered, it isn't heated, it isn't thrown down, like the turbinates in our nose throw that air into blunt, like sling it. We have these things that whiz that air down there. But when you breathe through your mouth, none of that happens. So we want to avoid mouth breathing. And I found that with my mask, I have to just keep my mouth closed or I will mouth breathe, right? So I have to make a conscious intention to close my mouth and breathe through my nose only. But then I get home and I don't have a scratchy throat. So just encouraging us all to use a little of that resistance breath so that we're well prepared when we're out in the street and don't have to do mouth breathing. Because it's not good to mouth breathe. It's not good for any of us to mouth breathe. We need the air conditioned for our lungs. Any questions about anything? Did you enjoy your water meditation? Just feeling some liquidity and softness, hopefully. I like it when we can add a mudra, just to tether us to this physical body that we actually have. And then I like, of course, the mantra to try and join us together in some ether cloud, all of us together, so that we're really connected. Shara, I'm missing your little girl with her ballerina dress on.
She's on a bike ride with Dad.
Good for her. Wow. Okay. Well, you have to tell her that I asked for her.
I will.
Any questions or comments? Anybody? Anything at all? Yes, Jonna.
I was just wondering, is there a way to make a like offering or like a dana money? Would you accept that for these practices you're doing?
I do accept it, and people have been kind enough to give me money. I have some of you on the page. I can't tell you how much you've really helped. And I have two kinds of donations. One is that you have to put it on you can PayPal me. It's gahooven@hotmail.com is my old PayPal. And if you want, like I have people that give me donations that I actually turn around and give to the village. And I buy víveres, what do you call it? Like household, like beans and rice and sugar and encaparina and avena and all of these things, and I give that. So if you need to be specific, because some of you, I know what you're doing and you told me before, and I just apply the same thing. I put half of it to one and half to the other. So you're welcome to do that. And I won't lie, I can also use it now too. So yeah, whatever. But if you come in through Mount Madonna's site, and many of you do come in through Mount Madonna has a brand new donation button. And they also, right now, being closed, having no income, and having a lot of outcome, can also use it. So Mount Madonna has a brand new donation button on Mount Madonna Center and Mount Madonna Institute pages. And so if you come in through Mount Madonna, please give it through Mount Madonna. Okay. All right. Well, it's beautiful hanging out with you, and I'll see you next. I'll see you next week.
Someone has a question. I'm sorry, but she has their microphone mute.
Jean, let me ask you to unmute. Okay.
I just wanted to tell you, I thought it'd be nice if you knew this. Whoops.
I got you.
Where are you?
I've got you.
We also take a Zoom yoga class from the woman who is not only a yoga teacher, but she's a physical therapist for most of us in my family. So she does not take any money for it, and she asked us to pay it forward. And I told her that I gave it to you and what you did with it, and she was thrilled.
Oh, good.
So she said she wanted me to pass that on to you.
Great.
So it's a passing on, and we're all in the family doing things for other people who need it, because she does not.
Right. Right. No, it's great. And yours went to the food bank here. Right. Yeah.
Good.
And I really,
told her I was thrilled.
yeah, no, and I really appreciate it. And they also really appreciate it. And I have my nephews in the States tithe every month to that food bank. So I always have at least $500 coming in every month for the food bank, because they've been kind enough they've come to visit me for many years now in Guatemala. And so they love Guatemala. And the two of them give me a tithe every month. So I can count on that every month. And that has nothing to do with yoga classes. That just they want to just help the people here. Yeah.
That's good.
So thank you all very much. Much love to you. Have a wonderful Thursday. Have a great weekend, and hope to see you next Tuesday.